Hey, Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hello. Hi, Brock. Good morning. How are
you? Just go outside and show her?
Because I saw it through the window. He gets enough steps. I get you.
Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, wow. Wow. That's rude. Feels like I'm at home.
Wow.
This is comfortable. Wow. Very comfortable. How's everybody? You guys good? I want to see where everybody's watching from today.
Michigan.
Nice.
It's nice to see a lot of you guys have been putting on my page that you can't. Camarillo, California.
Camarillo. Let's go, Camarillo.
Dayton, Naples, Florida. A lot of people are putting on my thing that they're starting to get their merch. So if you do and you're friends with me on Facebook, definitely put it up there.
That's outstanding. Well, you guys, this is mine. Now, I will say that the sweatshirts, I think our things run a little bit big, which I prefer, to be honest with you.
And people always say that.
Well, I mean, I have not washed it yet, but it's got that super snuggly warm inside. Oh, yeah. I'm digging it.
Wait, you don't wear a T-shirt under it?
I'm not wearing a T-shirt under it. I like new sweatshirt feel.
Ugh.
It's snuggly. It's woozy. That's what it is. Does it sound like my nasal?
It sounds like it's starting to go away.
Is it getting better? 2 weeks later. Actually, a week and a day.
St. Petersburg.
We got Maryland. We've got Trump country, Eastern Kentucky. Outstanding. Nice to see you guys. Hello, hello, hello. All right. We've got all sorts of good audio sound bites for you today. I think you will like them.
Northwest Montana.
That's outstanding. That makes me so happy. I love seeing you guys from all over.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying I'm glad you're getting your stuff.
Hi, Bruce. What's up, cowboy? Good to have you here. Rhonda got her T-shirt. Awesome.
Yeah, not too much longer of us playing catch up.
Yeah, we're almost there. Outstanding. Good morning, Joni. It's great to have you along. We got Weirton. Hi, Debbie.
Tennessee.
Danville, Virginia. Rodney, hello. Kate got her shirt yesterday. Thanks, Kate. St. Louis, Missouri.
I can't wait to get my beer glass.
North Carolina. Don't rub it in, Charlene. I mean, really.
What'd she say?
52 degrees in Tampa feels great.
Ours is 26.
Schuylkill County. Snohomish, is that how you say it, Washington? Tennessee, what's going on? I like the volunteer orange. We got Illinois, Adolph and Kitty.
Utah.
Beautiful. Pittsburgh, always good to have Pittsburgh. Juniper, Florida. Georgia, this is a blast. Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
So what time did you have to go to the airport yesterday? Did you have to go there?
Jack Ubered.
Did he?
Yeah. I told him I would have come and gotten him, but we were crossing I was doing stuff. And I guess he had texted, and I did not get the text. And I feel badly because I wanted to be there to pick him up. So anyway, he Ubered and walked in the door, and I was actually taking out the garbage. And he walked into the garage, and it kind of took my breath away. I was like, and then an hour and a half later, Michael rolled in, and it was great. It's great to have all 5 of them home together.
Sort of like when I walk in, your breath gets taken away.
Right. Yeah. I'm overwhelmed by joy and love and just this feeling of all complete now.
No, it's my kids will love me now because you brought them the ice cream that they like from the store that you go to. Thank you.
Arizona, Kentucky. Pelosi just bought a place in Jupiter. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Conneaut Lake.
Fort Myers.
Fran says hello to Wendy, Brock, and Jason. Nice. Beaver Falls. Hi, Jeff. Great to have you along. Yes, Lisa, Allegheny County is a Dem hellhole. You are correct about that. We've got Oregon. Clinton, North Carolina. It's not Oregon. Oh my gosh. Alberta, Canada. I hate that so much, and you know that. Ugh. Madeira
Springfield,
Beach.
Missouri, Titusville, PA.
Nice.
Illinois.
You know, we're not
Albany.
getting a lot. We don't get a lot of the Dakotas. Don't get a lot of Idaho. Don't get a lot of Dakotas. Anybody who wants to lie to me here. Sparks, Nevada. Do you think it's too cold? It's probably, it's cold.
It's cold here. It's 26 degrees.
Beautiful.
I had to turn on my heat seats.
Springfield, Missouri.
Is it Missouri?
No, it's Missouri.
I hate when you do that.
Uh-huh.
I hate it.
Yeah, well, I lived there, so I can.
I lived in Oregon.
In Oregon?
I did.
Look at you're clenching your teeth because you're desperate to say Oregon.
You're lived there for a year.
He's like, I lived in Oregon.
I
know. I heard you the first 17 times you said it.
I
hate me? Good.
Is it too late to quit? No. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hey, good morning, America. What a beautiful day to live in the United States. Hello, and welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program, your sense, or your source, I should say, for common sense conservatism, Monday through Friday. 15 hours of action-packed live programming every week, and we're about to get started with I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I gotta say, I do feel sorry for the left. I sure do. I really legitimately pity these people on the left. I know, Brock, you know what that means?
You never want to be pitied.
No, I reserve that word. I use it very judiciously. I fundamentally, though, pity the left. There's some commiseration. I can kind of feel the desperation that they feel because they put all of their eggs into this lousy basket and they're losing. And they're sinking, and it's happening quickly. And I don't think they could have ever believed it was going to happen this quickly upon taking office. And yet here we are. And why do I say this to you? Every single thing these people touch blows up, proverbially, in their face. Fundamentally. The people they try to get behind, not good people. Just not. The ideas they have for this country are terrible ideas. They are un-American ideas. They are ideas bent in rewriting the many interesting chapters of our American history. And fundamentally putting us on a path somewhere none of us really want to go. I feel badly for the left because they are swirling down the proverbial toilet bowl of crap. And why do I say this on this glorious Tuesday morning? Because I watched last night what I believe is a pivotal 20 to 30 minutes of broadcasting that I think every one of us in this country should watch. And it was the sit-down interview with Tucker Carlson and Kyle Rittenhouse. It was everything that the left has been lying to us, telling us it wasn't. Everything they tried to do to paint this young man as some willy-nilly vigilante who was just ready to break the law and be reckless for his moment in the spotlight, because after all, he's a white supremacist Trump supporter. It all blows up in their face. Let me describe to you what you'll glean from that 20 to 30 minutes of Tucker Carlson allowing Kyle Rittenhouse in a comfortable environment, not with the entire world watching him in a recorded interview, being able to express himself in his own words and walk through the steps of last summer, why he was where he was, his thought process behind it, the people he encountered along the way, his motivation for being there, the people with whom he was, by whom he was surrounded, and the ultimate decision he had to make, fearing for his life, that he had to defend his own life and shoot 3 people. Everything he says fundamentally debunks the deranged, sordid lies that the corrupt media have been trying to spin endlessly. But what makes this interview, I believe, so different than what we would get in court is in court, Kyle Rittenhouse responded yes or no to a lot of questions. Last night's interview, he had the opportunity to explain what it was like, not just that night in Kenosha, but for 87 days that he was in jail. Did you know that? Did you know that as a minor, he was locked up with convicts in a prison facility as a kid for 87 days? Think about that. The key to his interview last night that struck me the most was when Tucker Carlson asked him, so wait a minute, you're a minor. You're with all these men, ostensibly in a prison lockup situation. Did you fear for yourself there? Did they know who you were? Had they gotten reports about you? Yes, he said. They knew who I was. But I was able to tell my side of the story inside jail. He was treated more fairly inside a prison lockup where he almost spent 3 months of his life than he was treated by the mainstream media in the United States of America in the year 2021. His fellow inmates listened to him and asked him questions more honestly than the mainstream media, than Hollywood, than Joe Biden, than Kamala Harris, than anyone else who decided to weigh in without watching and listening to his testimony on the stand, and were willing to throw him away as a criminal. I understand, leftists. I get how you must feel, which is why I have such a pervasive sense of pity for you, because you do it again and again and again and again, and you don't get the message. You are losing You've chosen the losing side. You hail the wrong kinds of people who want to do the wrong things for America. And for a while, you sure felt like you had momentum because the rest of us watched for a while. We watched you hang yourselves out to dry. We watched you lie. We watched you coordinate perhaps the biggest theft in American political history. We've listened to you deceive the public. We've watched the sordid stories you've woven crumble in your face as you're unwilling to look in the mirror and see what's staring back at you. And it is abject failure. So I understand your desperation. I understand your loathing of this young, well-spoken man who dreamed of going to nursing school so he could help other people. But now, because he can see how corrupt the prosecutorial process is, Kyle Rittenhouse, in that interview last night, said he wants to support all of the people out there, Black people, brown people, poor people, who don't have the resources that he was afforded because of the notoriety of his case, to actually be treated fairly, to get representation that's worthwhile. And so he might, as a young man, pivot and go from nursing into law. He wants to help the very people who seem to be the ones most interested in vilifying him. And I understand, leftists, that's got to be a tough pill for you to swallow. For the young man you've spent so much time hating and demonizing to come out and say, you know what? The system isn't working and it's failing people who deserve better. And he wasn't talking about himself. So yes, I pity you because it's not working. And you know it's not working. And you're desperate. And you're no force for those of us who fundamentally, unequivocally, unabashedly, undeniably love everything that America stands for. And you can mark my words, we will not lose. Dr. Darren Dubiak and his medical team at Advanced Integrative Medical 360 do something really remarkable, not just in Pennsylvania, but 47 other states. And what they do is they sit down with you for a consultation, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. When was the last time a medical professional actually talked to you and asked you questions about how you feel, what's going on, what do you want to accomplish, what are your goals? The next thing they do is they give you extensive blood work testing. You go, you get your blood drawn, and then you sit back down, either through the computer if you're out of state or personally if you're in Pennsylvania, with Dr. Dubiak or a member of his team, and you go over literally your own binder, 15 pages of all this medical stuff about you, everything about your blood, your hormones, your biomarkers, everything that makes you tick. And then they come up with a plan. They come up with a plan, yes, to help you lose weight. And people lose, oh my goodness, did they lose weight? But also to get back to feeling like you again. And you know what I mean. It happens to all of us. Get back on track. I'm a patient. I speak from experience. 412-227-9255. Integrative Medical 360.com. Make your no-cost appointment today. All right, when we come back, I want to explain to you the board. It says something very basic. The left, why they're so royally losing. And why I do pity them. Don't miss it next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, the difference between conservatives and liberals, like as conservatives, this is why CNN's numbers are in the tank. We just ignore. Liberals hate.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
There's a seething, venomous.
It's like the people that go after you on Twitter.
Right.
Like, you've got nothing better. Like,
whatever. I mean, that's why I say I'm kidding. I pity.
If I don't like CNN. Guess what? I watch CNN strictly for one reason, because I know you don't. So, like, someone has to monitor CNN.
So you're taking one for the team.
I'm taking it for the team. That should be combat pay, by the way, because I sit there and I'm like,
maybe that'll be reflected in the holiday bonus.
Oh, there's a holiday bonus on the table again. Wow.
Well, we'll see.
For today.
We'll see. We'll see how that fares for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking not well.
But you're right. Like, so in order for me to see my home stuff with Twitter, right. I click on the local commentary first.
Right. And
there's usually 18 or 20 different things that pop up. I read none of them. Like, it has to load so I can clear it from the little dot that says 18.
Right, because those little red dots bother me.
I don't need to know. I never read them.
Right.
I just don't. And yet it's the same people who are putting out I presume the same stuff. But I'm like, do they know that I don't read their stuff? Because you have to kind of open it, don't you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know Twitter that well. I mean, I just watch Twitter, and I'm just like, people give so much oxygen to certain things that really, like, people dedicate their time to this. And I'm like, really? I wouldn't get. You know what? I'll give you a couple minutes. After a couple minutes, I'm done.
Well, and we have to go through a lot of this stuff,
right?
Because I think it's important for you guys to know, right? But by and large, these people do not occupy space with us. I'm like, this is unfortunate. You're dangerous. We're going to call you out because you're a joke. But beyond that, it's not like I'm walking around angry at people who disagree with me.
Right. Like I
really don't care.
That was my point. Like, I mean, I really don't care what CNN's doing. I'm glad a lot of people cut up CNN on Twitter because it makes it easier to watch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, they cut through all the garbage for us.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Here we go.
So coming up, we've selected what I believe are probably a good 5 or 6 of the highlights of this sit-down interview. I really do strongly suggest that you take the time to listen to Kyle Rittenhouse in his own words, because it will fundamentally confirm, if you actually paid attention to the trial, it will confirm what you know about this young man. And it will also debunk and illustrate the depths of depravity of the left. It will just show you how much garbage they've been peddling in. And it's truly reprehensible. Truly reprehensible. So the BS board today, I was just in the last several minutes before we went live. There are 10 basic reasons in my mind why the left just isn't figuring it out. You spend so much time and energy hating, and also being jealous. I think it's far worse to be jealous than it is to hate someone, because you can just dislike people and be like, all right, that's enough. But if you're jealous, because they have or are doing something that you don't have or are not accomplishing, that eats you out from the inside. It's a brutal, brutal battle. And this is what's going on. So the title, why they're so royally losing on the left. Number one, hating America is a crappy religion. If you live somewhere and you fundamentally hate that place, you're going to live in a constant state of ire. Do yourself a favor. Move somewhere else. Go away, okay? For your own sanity and for the rest of us, because quite frankly, it is an honor and a privilege to be here, which is why millions of people are trying to and have already succeeded just this calendar year. Number two, you choose the wrong people to deify. Criminals, addicts, scumbags, child rapists. Look at the left falling over the exoneration of people like George Floyd, people like the men who Kyle Rittenhouse shot as though they deserved to be exalted. No, they were lousy human beings. I'm sorry. Facts. Look at the criminal background. Number three, you lie to cover up your dangerous ideologies, and you suck at lying. We're onto your lies because they're so easily disproven. All we have to do is pay attention. And your lies come very much into focus. Number four, you rely on low information followers to act as your loyal clone troopers, people who aren't going to pay attention to the nuance or testimony of a trial. They'll just pick up whatever breadcrumbs you lay out because they're lazy, just like you. It's not a winning combination. Number five, feelings do not beat facts, which is why you so predictably ignore the facts. Facts will set you free. Feelings usually get you in a world of hurt. Six, using violence as a smokescreen can only work until the rest of America embraces its rights, as Kyle Rittenhouse did that night. Seven, you've turned on parents. You've used kids as pawns. That's how depraved you are. Eight, greed is ultimately self-destructive. It never wins, ladies and gentlemen. Evil never wins. There's a finite window of opportunity for it. But in the end, good triumphs over that. And greed, it'll sock you as it's socking the left. Nine, you wrongly believe that you're relevant, and you're not. You're not. And 10, jealousy is a bad color on you and everyone else. Fundamentally, we love America more than you hate America. And can you imagine if more people behaved the way Kyle Rittenhouse behaved? These mostly peaceful protests and this looting, this rampant criminality in California. Can you imagine if people showed up like Kyle? I dare say not another thing would be taken. All right, we're going to walk through the sounds for you. Don't miss it. It's worth every moment. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. You know, guys, it is that time of year again to build a crackling fire and enjoy the warmth of the season. So when was the last time you had an expert examine your chimney? You know, a real pro who knows exactly what to look for and how to make the right safety fixes without gouging you. Well, if you don't know who to call, I do. And their name is Piccadilly Chimney. These guys have been in business for almost 35 years here in Pittsburgh. These are two brothers, and they've assembled a wonderful team of pros who can do everything to make your home safe and warm this winter time. Their certified chimney sweeps will clean your chimney, conduct a thorough inspection, and expertly put in a new liner if yours is cracked or damaged. They're awesome. They can also install new chimney caps and new crowns. And if I'm not mistaken, they can repair or replace your damaged damper and repoint your firebox, just like that. Every Piccadilly chimney sweep is certified. They go through rigorous testing to be able to do what they do. And these guys are the best of the best. So this is the number, 412-221-0196. 412-221-0196. Serving Allegheny, Washington, and Beaver counties. Don't pick any sweep. Piccadilly chimney. Great guys. Remember, these sponsors support what we do, and we appreciate you patronizing them and sponsoring and paying for what they do. Thank you so very much for that.
So Jason has a question for you.
Oh, hold on. Let me put my thingies on. Can I file my nails while we talk about it? You know you love it. Oh, you want to do it out here?
Yeah.
Oh, top secret.
Hey, John. No, he didn't carry a gun across state line. Although he did cross the state line again to turn himself in, which I thought was pretty interesting. If you did not watch the interview last night, it's definitely worth watching.
I think it is. I think it is some of the most important words.
Yeah, I got angry.
Yeah.
I even texted it to you last night.
You know what? It didn't. It made me feel great peace. I felt great peace. I didn't feel anger. I felt pity.
Michelle thinks we need a Christmas party at Stinky's.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brenda, we will be on Thursday.
Yes, I will be here on
and then
Thursday.
Dimitri will be filling in on Friday. He's going to take and that's Jason's first show, so train wreck.
Wow.
No, I'll be here.
I don't think trains make that noise.
Wow.
So
Criticize it just like she does.
So we're gonna do stocking caps, right? Is that what they're called? Beanies.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I wear them.
I'm gonna please. May I have one?
They're up. Absolutely.
Okay. I want the. So what does it say on the front?
So one has USA with stripes.
Uh-huh.
One is stars and stripes.
Uh-huh.
And then the Winnie Bell Radio logo, they can actually design their own hat.
Oh,
Where they want to put the logo.
that's
I think it would
cool.
look cool right beside the flag because the flag prints on one side. I think the logo would look cool here.
They're up.
But he says on the backs.
I want the back.
Okay.
I like that look. So we're gonna do a limited number. Again, when we talk about merchandise, we're gonna drop. I know that you guys know that we're not asking you to buy it, but it's one of those things that, what are they? $20, $19.99?
With shipping, 22.
22?
$4 or $5 to ship it.
So I think it's an affordable thing, and I love hats like this. So
They're 100% American made. They're purchased and they're on the way. So
awesome. So we're gonna have them hopefully tomorrow, and then maybe I can wear one and you guys can see it. But I'm super excited. So we're gonna do 100 of them. They're on the website. So if you're interested in that,
15 each design.
Okay,
So
50 each,
Well, 49.
because I'm stealing
oh, yeah,
one.
sorry.
And I'm stealing one.
Do you want me to show that I just got my trigger shirt too? 'Cause I just-
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
See, as the merchandise creator and shipper, I just
Oh
got my
God!
shirt.
Just quit
So,
patting yourself on the back and show them the shirt.
I mean, I'm just saying. Thank you guys for your patience.
Joe loves his in Brock blue.
Oh, where'd Joe get that?
Jason.
Some nice guy paid for it.
It'll be part of your bonus.
Just what payback?
We'll
It's
just
a
add
it's
it.
part of something.
Just add it to the tab. We'll put it on the list. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. You are dialed in to the Wendy Bell Radio program. As always, I am so honored to spend time with you every day. It really is such a delight. We were talking in the commercial break, Brock and I were, and he was saying that when he watched this sit-down interview on Fox Nation with Kyle Rittenhouse and Tucker Carlson, it made him angry. And I definitely understand his frustration. I had a very different takeaway. I was watching Kyle as a mom because he's 18. My older sons are 21 and almost 20. So he certainly is kind of nestled in the age range of children of mine. And I was listening to what he was talking about. I had this tremendous sense of pride in him and his demeanor, in his thought process, in his obeyance of the law, in his respect for law enforcement. He explains how after he was chased and hit and a rock thrown at his head and he was beaten over the head by a skateboard and one of the guys held a gun and pointed at his face. And he had to make a decision in that moment to defend his own life. And he knew he shot, did not know he killed anyone, but knew he shot at least 3 people. He went immediately to go turn himself in to the police line. And the police were unavailable. They did not. They told him to go home. Go home. He tried to turn himself in to the Kenosha Police Department. Couldn't do so. So he ended up going back to Antioch, Illinois, his home, and turning himself in there. Like if this was a vigilante, if this was a guy ready to get his rocks off with a big gun thinking it made him tough and he was going to go shoot and kill people, he wouldn't come out and say, 1, I support Black Lives Matter. I fundamentally support your right to peacefully protest. He sure as hell wouldn't have tried to turn himself in. He would have been a fugitive of the law, if you would think that. Yes? So I took great solace in listening to this young man's thought process. As a parent, as a mom who believes my greatest opportunity in my life is to present to all of you 5 of the most extraordinary young men I could possibly present to you. That is my honor, and it is my obligation. Listening to him, the pride I feel in this generation, when we're told that this is a selfish, self-serving, jerky bunch, that they don't care about what we care about, I say fundamentally that's wrong. I take great joy in hearing him. And that is where I say to you, and I officially pity the left, because he's got their number by simply being a good and honest and contributing member of society. All right, let's go through the sound bites. We're just going to go in order. Cut number 1. I think this summarizes the majority of what you're going to hear when you sit down and do. Please watch the entire thing. Cut 1, go.
it wasn't Kyle Rittenhouse on trial in Wisconsin. It was the right to self-defense on trial. Right. And if I was convicted, no one would ever be privileged to defend their life against attackers.
No one would be privileged. You can see and you can hear the gravity he feels for Second Amendment defense. This wasn't just some joyrider out looking to blast some people. He specifically knew what the laws were and specifically chose not to break the law. Cut number 2. This is unbelievable to me. I did not know that Lynn Wood, who is the attorney who a lot of people credit for the Georgia 2 Senate seat loss for the Republican Party, this is the attorney who alleged he was a Trump supporter, but has given tens of thousands of dollars to Democrats. And in fact, there's been no indication that he's ever voted Republican. Interesting. Somehow Kyle Rittenhouse gets Lynn Wood and another fellow, Pierce, John Pierce, as his representation. I was unaware of this fact. And the two started raising money ostensibly for his defense. Listen to cut number 2.
How long were you there?
I was in jail for 87 days, and this follows in with Lynn Wood, Lynn Wood was raising money on my behalf, and he held me in jail for 87 days, disrespected my wishes, put me on media interviews, which I should never have done, which he said, oh, you're going to go talk to the Washington Post, which was not a good idea. Along with John Pierce, they said I was safer in jail instead of at home with my family. And then after I'm bailed
Your
up,
own lawyer said that?
My lawyer said that, John Pierce and Lynn Wood.
So Kyle Rittenhouse stuck in an adult facility as a minor for 87 days, would go on to chronicle the lack of water, his inability to bathe, basic fundamental stuff. 87 days. His lawyers using him for a cause. And as a youngster, he still knows this. Cut number 3, he explains the money making. Go.
87 days of not being with my family for defending myself and being taken advantage to, being used for a cause by John Pierce and Lynn Wood, trying to trying to raise money so they can take it for their own benefit, not trying to set me free.
So you think they could have raised the money for bail faster, but they didn't?
I believe sometime in September 5th, I want to say, they had over $1 million.
Over $1 million. And he didn't get out of jail until November 20th. What? His attorney, John Pierce, also said, Kyle was an unorganized militia. Said this when Kyle was incarcerated. Kyle didn't understand what militia meant. He didn't understand what his attorneys were saying and trying to do on the outside while he was on the inside with criminals. And I love the part where Tucker says, were you afraid? And he said, you know what? The men inside that prison actually allowed me to tell my side of this story. And when they heard my side of the story, they understood what I had done. And they understood I should not have been there. And they played cards together. He also widely credits the security guards at that jail, at that lockup. Can you imagine having the only humanity you're getting, if you're Kyle Rittenhouse, isn't from your attorneys. It's not from the public. It's not from America in general. It's from the criminals with whom you're locked up and the guards who were there ostensibly to make sure you're safe. Almost like these people were cherry picked for some sanity. So, in the criminal side of it is where he gets treated the most fairly. Think about that irony for a minute. And then Tucker Carlson asks about Joe Biden, then candidate Biden. Without any knowledge, without any facts, deciding to jump on a tweet in some way to needle President Trump, and called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist. Listen to the question and answer.
What did you make of the President of the United States calling you a white supremacist?
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement.
That's not a small thing to be called that.
No, it's actual malice, defaming my character for him to say something like that.
I want you to consider for a moment the danger to our democracy when people in the media and in political positions of power are able to disregard the facts because the facts don't align with their chosen dangerous narrative. This is what they've tried to do. How many storylines do we have to march through together to show the absolute purposeful mismanagement of facts and science and data, right? Sure, we're talking about a young man's defense here, but extrapolate that and look at anything that we've been talking about. January 6th. Don't let the facts and the 14,000 hours of cell phone video that, by the way, House Democrats have yet to provide to the defendants who are in their own Washington, D.C. gitmo. Tell me that's not of the same making here. Talk to me about COVID. Manufacturing facts, creating this fearful storyline, all to coerce your thinking in a very specific and manipulated way. It's disgraceful. This is why I pity you, leftists. Because America's wide awake and fighting back. And you're not ready for us. The final cut on him being threatened. Remember the bleeding heart leftists with Christine Blasey Ford. She's being threatened for testifying against Brett Kavanaugh. Threats of her life. But what about threats on this young man's life? Nothing to see here. If it doesn't fit your narrative, didn't happen. Cut number 6.
To look at the facts of what happened.
Do you feel the threats?
I do. I see some of the threats, some of the things people say. It's absolutely sickening.
Are you confident that the government will protect you from these threats? Because that's, of course, the government's job.
I hope so, but we all know how the FBI works.
Yeah.
Wow. 18 years old and he knows how the FBI works. What does the FBI do? The FBI goes against parents. The FBI breaks in the door at Project Veritas's James O'Keefe's house. Right? That's your FBI. Can I give you 15 other people who are probably more worthy of your review, feds? Namely, Darrell Brooks. How many others? We're going to talk about that and the very interesting difference of approach that the media is taking on the young man who decided to plow through a Christmas parade and kill 5 people, gravely injuring 48 others. But nothing to see here. I'm sure he was just retaliating against being oppressed. Dr. Charles Simkovich at the Simkovich Concussion Institute invites you to pick up the phone and call his office and make your no-cost appointment for a sit-down evaluation with him. Dr. Simkovich is a concussion and traumatic brain injury expert. He has a revolutionary treatment that's non-surgical, that does what so many other places try to do but fail to do, and that's heal your brain. It's one thing to definitely have your symptoms go away, to feel that brain fog and the headaches and the aversion to bright lights and to sound, to have that pacified. It's another thing to know that your brain is healing. And that's what the Simkovich Concussion Institute does. Make your appointment. I mean, it's amazing. Most patients see relief in less than a week. 412-366-3700. No matter where you live, call. 412-366-3700. Simkovich Concussion Institute.com. You're going to love them. Absolute gentlemen. When we come back, I want to go and kind of set the stage here on the coverage of this Tucker Carlson sit down. One rational, one highly irrational. You decide which one you believe. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Isn't that just so unbelievable that the fairness that he got was in prison?
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, here's a bunch of people that might feel in the same realm as him that they were misjudged, or, I can see the for lack of better terms, misery loving company type thing,
I think there's a special kind of justice in the prison system. You know what I mean?
And for the people who said that doesn't sound like Glenn Wood, that's just not him saying that. His attorney was asked after the case about Lynn Wood's going after the money. And he's like, I really don't know about that. Mm-hmm. I know he's going after it, but I don't really know about it. So apparently there is a story there. I obviously don't know
All we can say is Kyle is keenly aware of the fact that his attorneys, John Price and Lynn Wood, hosed him for 87 days when he could have gotten out. And I don't know what happened to the money, but...
And some are saying Mike Lindell paid. I don't know who paid.
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe you know.
Yeah, I mean, it may be legit. Hey, I need you to pull your mic over too. Yes. Thank you. Oh gosh, your nails.
I love how you make it sound as though it's like the beauty salon.
Lynn Wood said he is suing Kyle's attorney for calling him an idiot. That's his attorney's opinion.
Yeah. And you should know the parameters of the law, Lynn.
Yeah, I think Lynn Wood...
It's kind of a stupid thing
I think Lynn Wood had some credibility until the Georgia thing, where he told Republicans
don't show up.
I
don't know why people would listen to him. I don't know why.
I never knew who he was.
I didn't either.
Never knew who Sidney Powell was until the Michael Flynn. Mm-hmm. Lindell paid a portion, Julie? Okay.
But even if you think about that, his defense was able to raise $1 million in less than a month. I mean, that's outlandish. What did he say, September 5th?
Yeah, when he went in
less than 25th. A month. That's like
he
2
went in
weeks.
August 25th, yeah, 26th.
2 weeks. I mean, like, holy moly.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Lynn Wood.
I really don't either. I'm telling you what he was saying. You know, you could almost hear the wind leaving the sails of the left last night as Kyle Rittenhouse said, I support Black Lives Matter. I support the right for people to peacefully protest. Now, sadly, that hasn't been some of the Black Lives Matters movement, but you've got to love that there is not a shred of racial animus or rationale in what Kyle Rittenhouse's decision making was all about. It was fundamentally based on one simple thing: protecting his community, protecting a car dealership, a car place that had been burned the night before, protecting what was left, and then only to find out that the tables were turning on him. You hear some of the vile words that the men who ultimately Kyle would shoot and kill said to him earlier in the evening. The names they called him, saying they were going to murder him. They were going to rip out his heart. Wow, that's some dark stuff. That's not a peaceful protest, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a bunch of Southwest Airlines pilots and flight attendants standing on the sidewalk with signs that say, my body, my choice, no vaccine mandate. There's a difference, right? I'm all down with being able to picket and holding up a sign. But when you decide to start crossing bridges, blocking traffic, lying down in the middle of the street, your First Amendment right becomes a little bit fuzzy with how much you're affecting everybody else. But isn't it amazing the carte blanche effect we have with Black Lives Matter? They get to do whatever the hell they want. Here in Pittsburgh, from where we broadcast, last summer, people sitting outside enjoying a beer and a salad had miscreant ne'er-do-well protesters come up and eat their food and drink their drinks and get in their face and make them kiss their shoes and hold up a fist to the cause. That's not a mostly peaceful protest. What happened in Kenosha was not protected First Amendment speech. That was called terror. Purposeful, given a pass by the left. I also find it exceedingly intriguing that Kyle Rittenhouse understands that because of the notoriety and the exposure of his case, that he was afforded an unusual opportunity. He had money to use. And that so many people in the justice system don't have the same resources. And that he might move on to be a champion for those people. The left has chosen all the wrong people to deify. They've chosen every wrong person to go after. The McCloskeys, Kyle Rittenhouse. How many people? How many more failures for you on the left before you wake up and you realize the strategy you're using will never work? All right, when we come back, some scintillating Brian Stelter sound. Come on, you know, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Right here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Don't go anywhere. Ireland Contracting has a new roofing color from Owens Corning, and it's called Bourbon, and it is really, really cool. It's got blues like the ocean and the sky, and it's got browns like chocolatey, caramely browns. It is so pretty, and it looks amazing as a roofing material. Ireland Contracting in southwestern Pennsylvania, home exterior renovation experts. You needed roofing, siding, soffit fascia, Windows, skylights, Gary and Diane Ireland, husband and wife team, been in business for 30 years. This is your group here in Pennsylvania. Love them. They have Amish installers. They are so highly rated by the A+ rated by Angie's List, Guild Quality, and by the Better Business Bureau, and of course us here at Wendy Bell Radio. Give them a call, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Have Gary come out, check out your project, and give you an estimate. You've got nothing to lose. They're awesome. IrelandContracting.com. Ireland Contracting.
Christy, I wasn't saying Lynn was part of the defense. That's what Kyle Rittenhouse said. Was
Yeah.
his attorney.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know.
We don't
think
know.
to research who his attorneys because I didn't know he got screwed until last night.
No. Was that the first time you heard his name with that? I didn't know Lynn was a part of that.
Right. I knew he had prior attorneys because his attorney had made reference to it. But I didn't know, and she's saying the money Lynn was raising was not for bail. Then what was it for? And why is he going?
And by the way,
going after?
What was Kyle Rittenhouse's bail anyway? Was it more than the $1,000 that allowed Daryl Brooks as a felon, to leave custody and to plow into a group of people in Waukesha? Was it Waukesha?
Yeah.
Wisconsin, right?
I don't even try to.
Don't you wonder? What do you think?
Well, that was the second time that guy was released. No,
I have a lot more.
Can I go back to Lynn Wood for a second?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that dealt with Nicholas Sandman?
I don't know.
No.
What were you going to say about Waukesha?
Yeah, I heard that the individual you just said that is responsible for the
Daryl Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks. That is he on bail for allegedly trying to run over his
girlfriend?
Yeah.
The mom of his child.
Yeah. So
after he punched her in the face.
Particular homicide attempt. I mean.
Yeah, he tried to run her over earlier in the day. Earlier in the week.
His bail was $2 million, Pat. Okay.
Oh, awesome! $2 million.
Then you have the school shooter who shoots 4 students and a teacher and gets $25,000 bail.
Yes.
Yeah, he was. People were saying he was for Nicholas Sandman. Okay, I really don't care who the attorney is. I don't know. The fact that it came out that he was in jail. Let's not lose sight. He was in jail for 87 days. And if there was money there, why wasn't someone saying, hey, let's get first and foremost, let's not look 6 months down the road. Let's get this kid out of jail.
I think you have some attorneys who are really interested in the glory. And, it's like state representatives or Congress people who get off a little too much on tweeting.
Well, I heard your boy. I heard your boy. People were saying your boy ponied up some money.
Who's my boy?
Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Oh, he's a Second Amendment enthusiast.
Yeah.
And a father of, I think he's got 6 kids. I always liked Ricky. He was always a straight shooter when I knew him in high school.
She knew Ricky Schroeder.
No pun intended. He was lousy on the stick shift, though, which is why I was able to beat him in the drag race.
Silver Spoons was a good show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be careful, Linwood. He could sue me. I don't know anything about the guy. I really don't care about the guy.
Yeah, and you know what?
I'm not saying it. I'm just repeating what
that one person says, what about the 1-6 people? Amen. Amen. Interesting, right? How interesting how you vote or where you are at a certain time or how you're put in what bucket. That depends on what kind of justice you get, how fair the treatment is. How gross is that? That's just, it's disgusting and predictable.
I've never met a lawyer I liked ever. The only lawyer you actually like is yours. When you win. That's the attorney everybody likes. Their own. I think it's a shame that
it's a dark.
And I'm not saying to anyone in particular because I don't know that there are people out there that want to use this kid for a cause.
Of course. You know what he wanted? He didn't want a city to burn. That's what he wanted. That's pretty much where it ends.
I mean, think about it.
And
He
by the
can't
way,
even-
he shot the one dude and then ran around the car
to help him.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, literally, I get it. I get why the left is in total, utter panic free fall. Because you can't do anything right.
Get your pens out. If
Why?
you have any questions, this is the email for Jason. It's going to be up there for a minute and 50 seconds. Yeah, so you didn't like your attorney, Glenn, because you got shafted. I said if you win, you like your attorney.
The fact of the matter is this. Attorneys all know each other. And they're all friends, which is gross. So
It's
you're
like politicians.
so after you're, arguing something viciously in court, they go out and have a beer together. And you're like, wait a minute, that fundamentally doesn't work for me.
That goes with prosecution and defense.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not even civil.
Right.
It's insane.
I mean, I watched it happen on a couple court cases I was involved with. And I'm like, you guys all go out? I'm like, that's gross.
Oh yeah.
But I guess that's just the way it goes. Whatever. I hope he becomes a lawyer. He'd probably be a public defender.
Five, four, three, two, one. Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Already in busy hour 2, Mom. This is amazing. You guys make the day just kind of go through my fingers. There's always so much to talk about. In a segment upcoming, I do want to talk about what we know about the black supremacist. That's not a misnomer. The black supremacist accused of plowing into that Christmas parade, killing 5 and injuring another 50. I'm going to juxtapose his situation, how the media are managing him as a clearly miscreant felon vis-a-vis how they're and have managed Kyle Rittenhouse. Before we get there, though, it's interesting. When the mainstream media are called out on the carpet for their abject bias, their lies, right? The narrative that they desperately push every day. Still, they don't have that come to Jesus moment where they look in the mirror and say, you know what? I was wrong about that. I was wrong. They double down, triple down, become angrier, more hate-filled. And to me, there's no one who bebops through oblivion more than Brian Stelter from CNN. So it's interesting. With Donald Trump now out of the picture sufficiently for a year, Tucker Carlson is the new person to hate. He's the Trump du jour right now. And so Tucker absolutely wiping the floor with CNN. He's crushing everybody's ratings. He's just destroying them. And jealousy, as I told you in number 10, it's a bad look on everybody. It's particularly bad for the narcissistic, insecure in the media who are desperate for Tucker's notoriety, for his fame, for his popularity, and for the number of views that he gets. And they can't hold a candle to him. So Brian Stelter, rather than having a step back, having a panel discussion on, you know what? A lot of stuff was blown wide open in this trial regarding media malfeasance. dropping the ball, if you will. Let's have a realistic discussion about that. Can you imagine if CNN provided that? You'd almost fall out of your chair. Like, what happened? This almost seems like it's logical. That would never happen, of course, as illustrated by the panel discussion we've isolated 2 clips from. So he's got this guy on. Let me see, I wrote it down. He's got this guy named French. Do you remember what his title was, Brock? Is he a professor? No.
David French was the columnist.
Okay.
For the Dispatch.
That's right. And I think he also works with Time.
Yes.
He's a columnist for Time magazine. And so in some semblance of a realistic question, Stelter is going to ask this columnist, this contributor for CNN's panel discussions, what did the media get wrong? Or what did we do wrong? Right? Listen to the response.
How much of this is about slogans that were attached early on, like the slogan about crossing state lines, and how much of this is about information that didn't come out right away, that only came out at trial, that then changed the picture?
I think trial fleshed it out, but there were an awful lot of people who knew the contours of the defense early on. The videos were out there early on, and I think there were media outlets who just did a disservice by not noting that Rittenhouse was running away. This is somebody who was not aggressively approaching people. He was running away. Even under Wisconsin self-defense law, there's some modified versions of a duty to retreat, but he was being pursued by the first person he shot very aggressively. And so these kinds of things were not amplified enough. And so that's one of the reasons why I think the verdict took millions of Americans by surprise on its own terms, separate and apart from the question of should he have been there, which I don't think he should have been there. That you don't give a 17-year-old a rifle and encourage a 17-year-old with a rifle to go to a riot. That is not what you do. But those things were being conflated with the legal elements of the crime itself.
Right, I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. Don't you want to throw him down the steps? I do too. Right. Mr. Sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy. His face should be on that shirt that we made, because that's who I'm talking about. That is your liberal leftist. I don't think he should have been there. You don't give a 17-year-old a weapon. Well, who the hell is enlisting in the military? Last time I checked, it seems to be 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds who are given weapons and then asked to go God knows where to do God knows what for God knows whomever. So let's not get lost in the weeds about 17. I find it interesting that everybody they want to weigh in on whether or not he should have been there. Suck it. He was there. And I dare say if there had been 1,000 Kyle Rittenhouses, none of that stuff would have happened in Kenosha. If people showed up armed and ready to protect their businesses, would we be having this conversation today? I dare say no. Columnist French continues. Stelter asking him, well, how many of these, and he's trying to backpedal, well, how many of these facts didn't come out until during the trial? Trying to say, well, yeah, we got a lot of stuff wrong, but we didn't really know until the trial started. Well, that didn't prevent us from opining and suggesting and judging and sanctimoniously, deciding whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse was guilty. Cut number 2.
What do you think is the takeaway when it comes to the Rittenhouse verdict and the media?
Well, one of the takeaways is that I think the media dropped the ball. Parts of the media dropped the ball on covering this case from the start, because right from the start, there were a couple of things that were pretty immediately obvious. One was we knew what Wisconsin self-defense law was, and the other one was there was a lot of video evidence out there in the public domain. And what the video evidence showed was that Rittenhouse was being chased before he fired fatal shots, that he was knocked to the ground, he was attacked before he fired fatal shots. And if you knew Wisconsin self-defense law and you knew sort of the rules around open carry, then you knew he was going to have a strong defense. But what a lot of people did is they took the foolishness of being there, the recklessness of being there in itself, a 17-year-old armed with a rifle going to a riot, to social unrest, That's ridiculous. 17-year-olds shouldn't be doing that. And they conflated that with all that followed, and that's a big mistake. That's not how juries look at it. Juries look at the law, they compare the law to the facts, and under Wisconsin self-defense law, he had a strong defense. And honestly, it was pretty apparent from the beginning that he had a strong defense.
So newsflash, hey, media who weren't paying attention and didn't do any of your investigative work, much like the failed prosecution, this had a foregone conclusion, you giant boobs. Might we also discuss this simple fact? A 17-year-old shouldn't be at a riot, he said. Well, wait a minute. Back it up before that. There shouldn't be a darn riot. Why is there a riot? Over what? I love how these talking heads who like to give us their deep, deep insight into this. Well, he shouldn't have been there. Neither should have been the criminals who threatened to kill him. How about that? How about that? Why is it that we get lost in the weeds of the nexus of what happened? Okay? If all these people weren't miscreant, ne'er-do-well lawbreakers who wanted to use a police officer involved shooting that had nothing to do with them to go loot and set fires and do whatever the hell else they were doing, why don't we discuss that lawlessness that mayors and county executives and governors allowed to happen? That this whole failed leftist argument to defund the police set the table for. How do you like me now? This lawlessness is perpetuated by off-the-rails leftists who right now are fighting for bail reform, AOC, and for people to be released from prison. Hello, Rashida Tlaib. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that's your answer. Emasculate the police. Don't allow them to do their jobs. And then when a 17-year-old who doesn't want to see one more inch of his city burn decides to show up to either protect it or to provide aid to those who get injured during rampant lawlessness, he's the problem. Ah, I follow it now. Makes sense, doesn't it? One of the things that often makes no sense is having to choose what kind of health insurance you're going to get. Well, what do you, there's so many options. How do you know you're getting the best price? How do you know that that dotted line you're signing on is going to provide you a premium that you can afford every month and deductibles and copays that don't absolutely cripple you before you get covered? That's why you need an expert on your side. And that expert is our friend Tom Yakupin. Tom is outstanding. He says he can often save people between 25 and 50% on some of these out-of-pocket costs when they need medical care. 25 to 50%, sometimes more. How does it benefit you? Can it benefit you? Well, all you need to do is call him and make an appointment. He'll sit down with you either over the phone, in person, whatever you like, and talk to you about your options. Here's the number. Write it down, 724-230-4500, or go to newerahealthplans.com to learn more. When we come back, I want you to hear this other panelist. His name is David Zurowick. This cat's a journalism professor. Should you be afraid of college and the media? Oh, hell yeah. On two fronts there. I'll tell you why coming up on the Wendy Bell Radio program. I have to go by earthworms today. We're doing a little science experiment in the house.
What,
I have no idea. Chris has not articulated what the science project is. All I know is that this morning before I left, he's like, "Oh, can we go get earthworms?" I'm like, "Oh, goody."
Where do you get those?
I have no idea. I think Home Depot. I've never seen them. I have no idea.
I'll be at the waterfront. You want me to check Dick's?
Dick's for earthworms?
Don't they sell fishing stuff?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't that what people use worms for?
I don't know.
Go dig up the yard. Tell Murphy to go on a hunt. I'm sure he'll find some.
You know what? We have earthworms.
Yeah.
They're all over.
Right.
They're in my garden.
Right.
In my lousy, crappy garden.
Yeah. I don't know where there's any bait shops around here. People are like, go to a bait shop. Yeah, I get that.
Earthworms. I'm still not completely wrapped around what we're trying to accomplish with said experiment.
I don't think rubber worms are going to work for an experiment. Walmart. People are saying Walmart. That makes sense. Yeah, because they have a sporting department, like fishing.
Really?
I won't go into Walmart, so I can't help you there. You're on your own.
See, I think if I have a shovel and I go into that little trashy vegetable garden.
It's cold. It's too cold for it. We don't have Tractor Supplies around us, do we?
I don't know.
I don't think we live rural enough. Get-Go?
Yeah, some places do
Gas
that.
station?
Yeah, some
Yeah,
places sell bait by the river. Listen to these great comments that we get from people. If I ever need help, I'm gonna just put it out there. Rural King. I don't know what that means, Renee. It's clearly something near you.
North Park. You give him a shovel. Get out there. How many does he need?
Why is Kyle out pimping himself to a major news network? He's not. What are you talking about?
And for the person who says that was pre-planned and he had already... The interview was done right after. The fact of the matter is, in the production for the other stuff, they had been following him throughout the whole case. Yeah. That's what they were showing. But I don't know.
Hey, man, CNN's only hacked off because it wasn't them who got it. So
amen to that.
Jealousy's a bad look.
Amen to that, sister.
Jealousy's a bad look on everyone. You know, I bet you Brian Stelter and all these other people would be singing a different tune if they were the ones who had embedded a news crew with Kyle Rittenhouse during this entire trial. But they didn't. That was Tucker Carlson. So who would you choose to spend time with? Sure, I'm going to have your news crew with me, and you're going to distort everything I say because you're hacks. No, I'm going to choose the guy who I trust. Facts. Jealousy's a bad look on everyone. I want you to hear this particular question now. Stelter again, this with David Zurowick. And this cat, I wrote his name down. Let me see if I can get this right. David Zurowick is with Groucher College. Never heard of it, but okay. He's a professor of media studies. I want you to... Do you guys remember a week or two ago, Brock had isolated all of this sound of Brian Stelter imagining what was going to go on in 2022, and then bombs will go off in newsrooms, and then in 2022, I mean, it was theatrical and it was pathetic. And it was illustrative that mainstream media don't know what the hell they're doing. They've forgotten how to do their jobs. It's been that long. They've had that many reasons to do Donald Trump hit pieces that they've forgotten the nuance of just not sucking, right? So this is Brian Stelter asking David Zurowick, a professor of media studies, who does a Brian Stelter extrapolation, shakes his magic 8-ball, and he's going to do some wild surmising for you here, but it's worthwhile. Go ahead.
David Zurowick, what do you make of the Tucker Carlson promo, the trailer, this upcoming documentary? It seems to lionize Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, that's exactly the danger here moving forward from this, Brian. As David French said, absolutely, it was reckless. It was outrageous, and it proved deadly for this 17-year-old to go into that situation, walk the streets with that weapon. But what they are doing, and that trailer is a very sophisticated piece of filmmaking. You know, you showed Rittenhouse lying on that couch, laying on a couch there in darkness. It goes from that darkness, it positions him heroically on what's called the hero quest. This is the hero's journey. He's in darkness. He's talking about how tormented he is by the nightmares and the dreams. This is the hero in his struggle. It even goes from that picture on the couch to a shot of a crucifix on the wall. And you go, what's the logic of this? But they're linking him to symbols like the crucifix, a church steeple in the next shot, the American flag. And as he moves through this, he moves from that darkness to light when he is found not guilty, and he's embraced by the community. I think it's his lawyer, literally, who's hugging him. And then he's in that car, and he says, it's been a rough journey, but we made it through. Literally, they are not just holding him up as a role model, they're calling him a hero. And that is so dangerous. It's socializing, it's radicalizing potentially another generation of youth, white men, to think they can pick up guns and go be police officers and make life and death decisions about other people's life.
What did the 3 criminals who threatened Kyle Rittenhouse's life do, David? As you're on your soapbox here, yes, as you're here talking about, oh my goodness, I just can't believe that they're exalting him. They're making him this hero. And now what's going to happen? More white young people are going to go out and think they too can just grab guns and be the police officers. The funny part that he's missing is that there were criminals who threatened Kyle Rittenhouse. Why don't you ever take any umbrage with that side of the equation? That's right. It brings me back to why they're so royally losing on the left and why I have this very comforting pity for all people who choose this particular side of things. So instead of finding fault with the child rapist or the other felons who decided to be walking around carrying their own firearms, let's not get lost and pay attention to those people. Because if they hadn't done what they did, Professor, Kyle Rittenhouse wouldn't have been pulling the trigger. But Kyle's the one who shouldn't have been there. Got it. Got it. See, this delineation between who's right and who's wrong, who they support, who they vilify, very interesting. Becomes even more so when you look at this next case, the Christmas parade terrorist driver, the black supremacist. I don't say black supremacist lightly, ladies and gentlemen, because he was. He was. This cat, reportedly a supporter of the 5% nation. Gotta tell you, we've got people in the Washington, D.C. Gitmo who've been in solitary confinement for months because of the insurrection. What do you think this guy's going to get as a 5% nation black supremacist terrorist? Already they're covering up for him. We'll talk about that coming up next on the Wendy Bell radio program. Don't go anywhere.
How about that dude in that last cut? I saw that this morning. I was just like, holy cow. That's like And the girl comes downstairs and you say, "Is that what you're wearing?" And she extrapolates that you told her she doesn't look nice. Those pants make her look fat. I mean, he just went. They showed him on a couch because he was talking about how he was having a hard time sleeping and PTSD. Everything's not to be read into. That guy was bonkers.
Huh?
That guy was bonkers. I was saying, it's like a woman coming downstairs and you saying, "Is that what you're wearing? Is that what you're wearing?" And she goes, "Well, these make my. Why? You saying these pants make me look fat? You saying my hair doesn't look that?" No, I just asked if you. That guy extrapolated so much out of that.
They don't have to tell the truth, Brock. They stopped doing that a long time ago.
I'm embarrassed for the media.
Oh my God. It's truly irredeemable. Irredeemable. So I heard scuttle that MSNBC is going to axe Joy Reid.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to cover their too late MSNBC.
Well, if what's her face doesn't go with her,
Tiffany.
Mm-hmm. I think she's even more toxic.
I think she is. I don't think either one is good for ratings. I don't think either one is. No one likes to be yelled at every day.
Oh my God!
And that's what they're telling you how horrible you are every day. You know, no one's telling you. They're always looking to get the negative. And I get sometimes it's easy to pick apart what somebody's doing. Joy Reid is not worth the $1.5 million she gets a year.
Well, remember she was under fire for her anti-gay stuff that she had said several years ago. Oh, she's so sorry. Oh, she checks a box, which is why she wasn't fired.
Yeah, they fired Chris Matthews real fast. Nicole's just she's another one. I just wish they'd change up what they talk about. Like, coming from the guy who has to take it for the team and has to follow MSNBC and CNN because other people don't.
I pay attention. Stop it.
When I send it to her.
I want to know what the hell is going on in Australia. I mean, are these people...
Are we playing this sound? Because that sound is messed up.
Yes, we will.
Wait till you hear this sound that I found yesterday. I sent it to both you and Jason. I sent it to Jason first by accident, but I was like, my response was the same thing. Wow, you can't believe I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Let me make sure I have all of the sound. All right. Australia is really bonkers.
For you guys, I'm trying to put Jason's email up in the comments every once in a while. If you have questions. Everything is not shipped yet. And if you ordered it in November, I can tell you right now, it probably has not shipped yet.
Well, why don't you get working on that?
Yeah, Jason, get your shizzle together.
Wow. Holy moly.
I agree Jason needs a mic, but we don't have one that's wired into the board. Jason when the studio was put together, Jason was not in the picture.
Plus, Jason would probably miss a lot of stuff when he's talked to because he's his head in the computer all the time.
Or somewhere else.
Oh,
Just saying.
holiday week, I like it.
I'm just saying, I don't need you to let it go. Bring it.
Nice.
And they're fighting words. Do we need help? If you're talking mentally, I'm sure we could all use a little bit. Here we go.
You know, before we go on and talk about this absolute horror in Waukesha, Wisconsin, over the weekend, I do want to wrap up the Kyle Rittenhouse discussion with this, and it's good. Kyle says he's got a great team of lawyers, and they're already all over the lawsuits that he plans to file against people. That's a good thing. They obviously didn't get the message with Nicholas Sandman. Too much time has passed, 3 whole years, whatever the heck it's been. I hope Kyle Rittenhouse takes him for every red penny. All right, I want to tell you guys about this. So, this absolutely horrendous story about a guy purposely. There's no excuse and there's no defense for somebody driving into a holiday parade. There's no, oops, I got the wrong pedal, or as CNN tried to spin yesterday, that the guy behind the wheel, who now we know is Darrell Brooks, who's got a lovely, lovely history. CNN tried to spin the yarn that he was leaving, escaping another dangerous situation. Oh, he was on the run. Well, bull. Nice try, CNN. And why do you put your eggs in the baskets of losers? Why do you do that? It's your strategy to lose. It's why I pity you. History of contacts with law enforcement and courts. Darrell Brooks has been charged with crimes 10 times since 1999, when Brooks pleaded guilty at 17 years old to a felony charge of inflicting substantial bodily harm against another person, according to court records. He also had been cited for traffic and disorderly conduct offenses. Now juxtapose 17-year-old Darrell Brooks with 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse. A decade ago, during a traffic stop, a Milwaukee police officer jumped inside Brooks' car, fearing he was about to be run over. The officer had pulled him over for not wearing a seatbelt. As Brooks began to drive away, the officer was talking to him. The officer got inside the car, wrestled for control of the steering wheel. Eventually, the officer was able to stop the car and removed the keys. Brooks ran away from the car, court records say. Kyle Rittenhouse ran towards the police to turn himself in. Brooks ran away from the car, court records say, and was arrested hiding in a children's playhouse in the same block. Excuse me. He later pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge in that case. That was just the appetizer for his sordid smorgasbord of criminality. More recently, Brooks was charged in July 2020 with 2 felony counts of second-degree recklessly endangering safety and possession of a firearm by a felon. Let's see. Kyle Rittenhouse lawfully got his firearm. Oh, that's right. Brooks was a felon. Felons can't have firearms. Oops. He was accused of getting into a fight with a relative and then firing a gun at the relative and a friend, according to court records. Well, this guy's just great. His bail was set at $10,000, then reduced to $7,500. Prosecutors were prepared to go forward with his jury trial February 9th. according to the district attorney's office statement. Brooks was still in custody at that time and had made a speedy trial demand, but because another jury trial was in progress at the same court, the case was postponed. After hearing arguments from Brooks's attorney, bail was dropped to $500. I'm sorry, what was Kyle Rittenhouse's? $1 million? $2 million? 500. Ah, got it. Got it. Was dropped to 500 by Milwaukee County Judge David Feiss, online records show. Brooks posted that bail February 21st. A plea and sentencing hearing was scheduled in that case for November 11th, recently. At that hearing, Brooks' attorney requested another adjournment, and the prosecutor did not object. Houston, we've got a problem, and it's called prosecutorial misconduct. What are they doing? They're not prosecuting these cases. What are you doing? Feiss scheduled a status hearing in December. By that November 11th hearing, Brooks already was in custody for the domestic-related incident. You know, where he punched the woman who gave birth to his child in the face and then tried to run her over with a car? Ah, he was already in custody for that. According to court records, on November 2nd, Brooks knocked on the door of a woman staying at a Milwaukee hotel, yelling profanities. She opened the door and tried to walk past him, but he snatched her phone and drove off, records say. The woman, his girlfriend, was later walking towards a gas station when Brooks pulled up alongside her and demanded she get inside the vehicle, the criminal complaint says. When she refused, he punched her in the face. And then as she walked away through the gas station parking lot, Brooks ran her over with his vehicle, a 2010 maroon Ford Escape, the complaint says. The vehicle is similar to the description of the SUV involved in the parade tragedy. Brooks was charged November 5th with felony second-degree recklessly endangering safety, felony bail jumping, and 3 misdemeanors, including disorderly conduct and battery, with domestic abuse assessments. Reporters who approached a Milwaukee address associated with Brooks were stopped by police who said the resident did not want to speak to reporters. Three neighbors said they frequently saw Brooks, but seldom said anything beyond a quick hello. One neighbor told reporters her home security system captured several police officers at his home and examining his car several weeks ago. Officers were again seen at the house Sunday night, the neighbor said. A woman who had a child with Brooks told a Journal Sentinel reporter he was not involved in her or her children's life. Quote, I have no idea what makes him tick, why he would do something so stupid and tragic, and why he would hurt those babies and those adults. Brooks has also had Brooks also had an outstanding warrant in Nevada. The USA Today network confirmed late Monday. In 2016, police in the city of Sparks arrested him, saying he failed to obey sex offender laws. Wow, this guy just keeps on getting better. He posted bail, but later failed to appear in court. So here's what we have, friends. We have a system that doesn't freaking work. Because the people who are paying off prosecutors, I'm thinking George Soros and others, don't want it to work. They want there to be criminal elements all over the fruited plain. Disarray. Violence. And then when the police are called to the scene, nah, we shouldn't have them. Defund those people. Instead, let's send what? Therapists? Social workers? Oh, I'm sure a therapist or a social worker would do really well helping out Darrell Brooks. Interesting, when you search for Darrell Brooks, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they've done a fabulous job trying to scrub him from their documents. But some people have managed to grab some screen grabs of his past before his social media stuff was taken down. Reportedly littered with anti-white, anti-Jewish posts that encourage the killing of white people. And also talked about how Hitler had it right about the Jews. Oh, perfect. Reportedly, a supporter of the 5% nation. subject of the Nation of Islam, which preaches about black supremacy. I wonder how many of his victims were black. Oh, that's right, none. He was also a wannabe rapper under the name Math Boy Fly. YouTube took down his videos in an active cover-up of his anti-white terrorist attack. This is the same YouTube that banned me for life. Banned me because I'm conservative and fabulous, and let this cat cover for him. Killed 5 people. Facebook, not to be outdone by YouTube, jumped into the fray as well. Thank goodness these are the arbiters of good character. Deleting his account so we can't see that he wrote, "Religion is white supremacy." So let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. Who in the hell is more dangerous? Kyle Rittenhouse, with a lawfully purchased and owned rifle? Or Darrell Brooks, a black supremacist, white-hating, Jew-hating felon who punched his girlfriend in the face and tried to run her over before killing 5 people? Very interesting. President Biden didn't want to weigh in on this. Well, let's wait. Let's wait till the facts come out. Oh, you mean how you waited to call Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist last September? Ah, got it. Interesting coverage by your drive-by media, right? We're not going to jump to any conclusions. It's still early in the investigation. Really? You guys had already convicted, tarred and feathered Kyle Rittenhouse. Ah, that's right. Again, the left choosing all the wrong people to get behind. The people who believe in hurting other people, who believe in domestic terror, who believe in violent protesting, who believe in their God-given right to set fire to God knows whatever they want, to run into a store and steal as much Louis Vuitton stuff that they want. Because according to Chris Cuomo, who the hell ever said peaceful protests had to be peaceful? This is by design. All of these stories are created by your miscreant left. All of them. Cops are racist. Defund them. Go break the law. Prosecutors aren't going to come after you. You don't think that they know that? That the criminals know that? Why do we think in California they're given carte blanche to steal whatever the hell they want? Until somebody, a la Kyle Rittenhouse, decides to stand up and fight back. Bet your bottom dollar when that happens, the media will be all over judging that individual. I'm sure Joe Biden will weigh in too before he had all the facts. It is, in fact, the way of your left. Dr. Richard Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh has helped thousands and thousands of people who were told that their only solution to their bulging, herniated, or degenerative neck pain, back pain, is surgery. That's a lot of surgery. That's a delicate surgery. Rolling the dice on somebody, tinkering around all those nerves. But at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, Dr. Rafferty does something revolutionary that is non-surgical, that's super successful, 98%, pretty good odds. And it doesn't just take away the symptoms of the bulging disc, it heals the disc. It's amazing. Intradisc neutrosis. Pick up the phone, 412-906-9600. People, literally, when I say people drive in, they drive in from all across the country for this treatment. It's that good. It's that life-changing. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Tell Doc the Wendy Bell Radio Show sent you. All right, when we come back, I want you guys to see what's going on in California as the left also makes excuses for inflation. It's really your fault. Small business fault. Can't wait for that one. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
So, battle out. For the guy, listen, I know for people who didn't get their merch yet, you're kind of getting upset. I get it. But if you just put it on the stream, didn't get it yet, that really doesn't help us at all. Like, that's why I keep putting Jason's stuff up on the internet. The best thing you can do is email him so we can have your number, so we can look it up, and then someone can tell you where it is. A lot of it's sitting at the post office, which is out of our control.
It's so frustrating.
It is.
It's so frustrating.
Like, I understand you're upset, and I get it.
I'd be upset too. I get it. We are upset.
We're angry at Jason too. Jason, but just putting up there that I don't have it. The best thing you can do, and if you emailed them, I know a lot of it bounces back to me sometimes saying that they didn't get it. Just if you emailed him and it didn't go through, email me and I'll make sure he gets it. Yeah, it's Jay Shepard. No dots. I'll put it up again here a couple more times.
It's almost impossible to go back to your Facebook feed.
Yeah. We want you to have the stuff to wear for Thanksgiving too, to trigger people. So
my throat is starting to falter.
Oh boy. Battle out.
All right, so I have some advice for you guys, and it's really cool. Check out this website, thebattlegroundspa.com. Thebattlegroundspa.com, one of the coolest places I have ever been. As a mom of boys, getting birthday parties, holiday parties, whatever organized is a bear. That's where the Battlegrounds comes in. The Battlegrounds is an indoor playground like you would never see before. The largest indoor airsoft and Nerf gun battlefield, 3 stories. They also have a hobby area called Show Me Your Hobbies, where they do all this remote control stuff. Crawlers, boats, trucks, cars. Grab a gift card, right? Or come play yourself. But you got to make an appointment. Come check them out. From Nerf and airsoft to bow tag and rivals, the endless activities will blow your mind, okay? So go to thebattlegroundspa.com or give them a call, 412-530-2192. Make your reservation. You're going to love the Battlegrounds. As we're talking about this terrible tragedy of this felon plowing into a parade, a Christmas parade of people, killing 5, injuring 48. The out of touch of people is truly mesmerizing. Did you guys see Chuck Schumer use the Waukesha tragedy to tout the Democrats' infrastructure disaster? Isn't there like the friend in his life that's like, well, Chuck, let's, a little too soon. Let's not do that. That's a bad idea. And those pants make you look fat. I'm not looking at you, Brock. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer reacted to the tragic domestic terrorist act in Waukesha, Wisconsin, by tweeting that his infrastructure bill makes streets safer. Are you out of your mind? Yeah, it's a lot safer when psychos aren't on them. On this World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims, he tweets, we mourn those we've lost. We stand with their families. We recommit to preventing these tragedies. The infrastructure bill we passed provides historic funding to help reshape our streets, make them safer, and save lives. Wow. You are just such an absolute disconnected boob. He deleted the tweet after 7 minutes because maybe that one person in his life who is his friend was like, yo, that is awful. But both conservative commentator Ian Miles Chong and Polito Whoops captured the tweet before it was taken down. Obama-era hack Rahm Emanuel once said, never let a serious crisis go to waste. Right? Well, for most of the Democrat Party's leadership, this can also translate to never let a major tragedy go to waste when you can appear tone deaf and completely disconnected. Oh, Schumer accomplished both of those objectives. The difference between these hot takes and what Schumer posted is that we often allow our emotions to guide our actions prematurely. That is not what Schumer actually did. He saw an opportunity to promote himself and his accomplishments before the bodies were even cold. Yes, that is what happened. He saw what he thought was a good PR move and acted upon it before somebody stepped in and told him probably wasn't a good idea. This is how far too many leaders on the left think. They see every tragedy event as an opportunity they can use as their advantage. The next mass shooting, I hope it never happens. But rolling the dice on the law of averages, it will. And everybody and his brother will come out and talk about guns. Too many guns. Beto O'Rourke getting his butt handed to him by freaking McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey has a 20-odd point lead. I hope he absolutely sops him.
I read it was 2-1.
I mean, unbelievable. Brilliant. Brilliant. Beto wants to take your guns out of my lifeless hands. You'll do that. Your last defense against tyranny, against maniacal rule, your last defense against the left is affirmed to you in the Second Amendment. If anything, it's a reminder to go buy more ammo. Well, it sounds like she wants war. No. We're prepared, though. When these people who decide to go into stores roll into your town, when they decide, well, the police aren't going to come, and even if they do come and I get arrested, it's not like I'm going to get charged with anything. Prosecutors are going to let me walk. Yeah, you never know what's behind that door. Who's waiting? I want to play before the break. How about the sound of the looting? The video of the looting. This is where we are. Allowed.
Tonight, a rash of smash and grab thefts targeting retailers around the country, just as the holiday shopping season picks up. In California, the Bay Area suddenly seeing mobs of people ambushing stores.
A lot of them are going in there, grabbing as much merchandise as they can and getting away.
Over the weekend in Walnut Creek, 80 thieves storming a Nordstrom. Some even assaulting employees before they ran out with merchandise in hand to getaway cars.
Probably saw 50 to 80 people in ski masks, crowbars, a bunch of weapons.
And in San Francisco, more than $1 million in merchandise was stolen after as many as 100 people rushed several stores, including this Louis Vuitton.
Where's the outrage? Where's the left's outrage over lawlessness, over people with weapons, over people using violence? Where is the outrage? So they'll send the FBI to a parent school board meeting. They'll create a dossier on what you do if you oppose critical race theory. But if you rob a Louis Vuitton store with a crowbar and you smash somebody in the face, you're okay. Perfect. This is the left, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back right after this on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Disgraceful.
Yeah, the FBI going after the PTA.
Huh?
The FBI going after the PTA.
Oh, yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Even after they withdrew their domestic terrorist comment and apologized.
Wow.
Wendy is wearing a small.
Huh?
Someone asked, what size sweatshirt are you wearing? And you said, you're wearing a small.
Mm-hmm. It fits my big
Ego.
really well.
Okay.
Let's do Australia out of this.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, the post office is sitting on some stuff that we don't know why. So Jason will be calling them or visiting. Oh, but look out. What did he say? Walk softly and carry a big stick.
Well, I did talk to one down the Liberty Center. They said they're trying to get everything out in 5 days, not out, but
Everything out in 5 days.
but we have them scan it because they take possession. So,
Wendy, you look terrible. Fever, coughing, headaches. You should be in bed.
Wow.
Wow, Kim. Wow.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't feel bad. Do I look that bad?
No.
Okay.
No,
well, she thinks that's
she's
bad.
achy. She's achy from yesterday from leaves and pulling weeds. She's been complaining about that for 2 days. I haven't heard her say anything about, oh boy, here comes the. Is it as bad as what I see in the morning?
Is that better?
It actually
better?
is.
Yeah. I figure you'd like that.
you throw a beanie on that.
Wow. That's.
Isn't that great? People are like, why do you always pull your hair back? Oh, I don't know.
You should pull it in like a ponytail thing.
Huh?
Like that. And then just put a little rubber band. Yeah.
Really? Is that what you think I should do?
You know, look at what I do with my hair every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, it's bad at 4 o'clock in the morning. Did you sleep in this morning?
I was up at 3:30. Why?
The stream wasn't up at. I was there at 4:02.
Maybe I was avoiding you.
Jason, we start early. You sleep in every day. I don't know.
Well, if you
Jason. Jason. Now it went from 4:30. You know. I'm up. My dogs woke me up this morning.
I don't think I look like I'm sick, do I? I did last week.
No, I don't think you. This is a huge setup for me. This is a huge. Yeah, emotionally, you're a wreck.
So that Christmas bonus
is gone again. There goes. Oh wait, it went from a holiday bonus.
It's like a whittling down.
Here's the holiday bonus.
Soon it's going to be a Hanukkah bonus.
It went from a holiday bonus because holidays. Hey, we're talking about my bonus.
Yes. Yes. Go
Here's
ahead.
a guy trying to make a buck, and I got this guy fighting against me. Go ahead.
Well, so some Verizon users are now saying they're blocking our webpage. So just an FYI, I'm gonna look into that.
Some Verizon users are saying that they're
on
blocked.
Data, not Wi-Fi, but on their data. So I'm gonna look into that because that also affects the app. Just an FYI.
I'm gonna turn everybody off for a second.
It's the time to take a chance. In the moment when you hear the call, the people.
I had to say something to him privately.
I look sick, huh? Huh.
We're doing Australia out of this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stand by.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back to the third busy broadcasting hour of the Wendy Bell radio program. I am she. So it's great to be with you guys. Hello and happy Tuesday to all of you. So I wanted to talk to you briefly outside of the United States, because I think what's going on in Australia is scary as nuts. I literally cannot fathom how such a beautiful place has such crazy leadership. They quite literally have been on a literal and proverbial island since the beginning of COVID, with harsh travel restrictions and some of the most restrictive police forcing tactics, all under the guise of safety. Have you guys seen any of the video of police literally jumping out of a car and tackling people to the ground, cuffing them and dragging them away, ostensibly because they're not wearing a mask? Legitimately. This is Australia. This is a first world country. One of the wealthiest countries. What are we doing besides being absolutely bananas? So when we heard this fellow, piece of work, his name's Michael Gunner, and he's the chief minister of the Northern Territory in Australia. And he got into kind of a squirting match with Ted Cruz.
What's a squirting match?
I just think the P word is an unattractive, un-radio ladylike word. So it's a squirting match, right? So apparently Ted Cruz took him to task and said, this is ridiculous, some of the things that you're doing. And they've gotten into this little back and forth regarding the territory's wide-reaching vaccine mandate. Now, mind you, if you think what's going on in the United States is oppressive and borderline communist, well, Australia is already hook, line, and sinker down with it. I want you to hear this wackadoodle, okay? Here's this guy, Michael, I keep losing his name. Michael Gunner, the chief minister of the Northern Territory, explaining what he feels about vaccines and mandates.
If you are anti-mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. I don't care what your personal vaccination status is. If you support, champion, give a green light, give comfort to, support anybody who argues against the vaccine, you are an anti-vaxxer. Absolutely. Your personal vaccination status is utterly irrelevant. If you campaign against the mandate, if you campaign against people being vaccinated in vulnerable settings, teachers in classrooms, I'll be really clear, at that point in time, people were actually supporting the idea of a teacher being unvaccinated in a remote community classroom with kids who cannot be vaccinated. I reject that utterly, and I still reject it. And if you are out there in any way, shape or form campaigning against this mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. If you say pro-persuasion, stuff it, shove it. We are absolutely going to make sure as many Territorians as possible are vaccinated. That is our best protection against this thing. And if you look at the Doherty modelling that's only come out since, that says if you double dose 80 in remote communities, 5 and up, I think you'll see our vaccine mandate is absolutely crucial to protecting lives, particularly Aboriginal lives. And I will never back away from supporting vaccines. And anyone out there who comes for the mandate, you are anti-vax.
Wow. You are anti-vax. Do you see the no wiggle room for, I've already had COVID. Why am I going to get something that I have natural immunity for anyhow? And natural immunity, which is way more robust and a hell of a lot longer lasting there, Michael. Nope, can't talk about that. If you want to talk about that, you are anti-vax. Really? Well, what if you're like Brock and you have epilepsy or any other number of medical conditions? Or you're like Aaron Rodgers, who's allergic to one of the ingredients in the mRNA elixir. What about that? Can we talk about? Nope, gotta get it. Or you're anti-vax. So I found this story on the New York Post. Scary, scary, scary. I want you to hear some of this. Australian authorities don't fool around. Obviously, state premiers have vast powers and they use them. In Melbourne, located in the state of Victoria, a curfew is in place and limits apply to people leaving their homes. There are hefty fines for non-compliance. The spirit of the lockdowns was perfectly captured a few months ago by the chief health officer of the state of New South Wales, who warned, quote, whilst it is in human nature to engage in conversations with others, to be friendly, unfortunately, this is not the time to do that. Ah, very nice. All right, this is what happens to you there. The app, there is an app that is used to track you. That's nice. It's not like our little fun app where you get to go and see the BS board and buy our stuff, right? It's called We'll Follow You, and then the police will come and arrest you. The app will contact people at random, asking them to provide proof of their location within 15 minutes. If they fail to do so, the health department will notify the police, who will send officers to check on the malefactor. What? Unrestricted travel is a hallmark of a free society, but Australians can barely leave the country. Travel has been cut off between states, creating an arbitrary patchwork of states trying to isolate themselves from COVID cases. Tens of thousands of Australians have been trapped overseas, unable to come back home because of monthly limits on how many people can return. What? All of this economic and social disruption and coercion hasn't been enough to stamp out the Delta variant. Of course not. It's a virus. What is everybody having such a hard time understanding about this? Which is outrunning the government controls. And then I want to read you this. What a difference a location makes. Voice of herd immunity pipes up after hiding in plain sight. Is an Amish community in Pennsylvania's Lancaster County the first U.S. subpopulation to achieve herd immunity against COVID-19? So far, the only evidence is casual and anecdotal, but it's also undeniably compelling. The independent broadcast journalist Cheryl Atkinson, formerly a CBS News reporter, thinks so too. She traveled to the area. She heard some from the firsthand witnesses for her new show, Full Measure. Her sources include an Amish Mennonite man who tells how COVID swept through his church soon after members widely shared a chalice of devotional wine. Of course we got herd immunity, says the man. We think we're smarter than everybody. We shouldn't be bragging, but we think we did the right thing. Of what did this right thing consist? Shunning vaccines, ignoring lockdowns, and steering clear as usual of involvement with public health, education, and government. Right? More from this man. He says, we're all glad that the English people got their COVID vaccines. That's great, because now we don't have to wear a mask. We can do what we want. So good for you. Thank you. We appreciate it. Us? No. We're not getting vaccines. Of course not. We all got the COVID. Why would you get a vaccine? Amazing clarity among the Amish Mennonite. In the segment, Atkinson, I always want to say Atkinson also interviews a Mennonite scholar named Steve Nolt, who's studying the community's response to the pandemic's pressures and the government's mandates. Quote, I know of some cases in which Amish people refused to go to the hospital even when they were very sick, because if they went there, they wouldn't be able to have visitors. And it was more important to be sick, even very sick, at home and have the ability to have people around you than to go to the hospital and be isolated. Amish people deciding what they want to do. Everybody gets it. Some people die. It's a fact. Some people die. They're willing to roll the dice on that, get it through their community, and get back into the business of living their lives. Then there's Australia, who's continually trying to fire on a moving target called a virus that, by the way, the more you throw vaccine at it, the more it mutates, and the more Dr. Fauci sits there and counts his billions. Facts. We do have time for his sound. I think you guys would like this. It's brief. And he's just basically setting your Thanksgiving table, what's ahead of you in the coming months and years. Of course, you saw this coming.
We would hope, and this is something that we're looking at very carefully, that third shot with the mRNA not only boosts you way up, but increases the durability so that you will not necessarily need it every 6 months or a year. We're hoping it pushes it out more. If it doesn't, and the data show we do need it more often, then we'll do.
You know what? If the data shows we do need it more often, then we'll mandate it every 6 months. They have every intention, mark my words, of saying to you every 6 months. So in order to be fully vaccinated, not only do you need shot 1, not only do you need shot 2, you need shot 3. And then next year, it'll be shot 4 and 5.
And so far, he's been wrong on every vaccine.
Every single thing.
Why would I all of a sudden think that the booster's the end all be all?
And again, what do you never hear them talk about? Anybody who wanted to be honest about any of this would spend quite a bit of time talking about natural immunity. If you want to earn the trust of the public, you don't tell them there's only one solution, especially when the science flies in the face of that. They're gross. Agreed. 100% gross. Almost as bad as what Rashida Tlaib is trying to ask for. Wait until you hear this piece of work. She's an anti-American hater. She's a hater of this country. I cannot fathom how this woman is a member of Congress. I really can't. But I'm going to walk you through what she is suggesting under the guise of making our criminal justice system more fair. I've got news flash for you. It ain't. All right, we're going to go to a quick break. Brock is looking at me because he forgot I dropped something today. Oh, there we go. Let's get that beautiful bumper. There we go. I'm like a trained seal. I need to hear that to know what's coming up. All right. We're going to step aside. Be right back right after this. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program.
You could have put something else there.
Yeah.
That's what threw me off. I'm sorry. There goes the holiday bonus. It's cold in here.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you put yours on too.
We would hope, and this is something that we're.
Sorry, hit a wrong button.
Literally with a snap. Oh no.
I'm gonna have to go buy another coat or something. Maybe I'll buy a coat with my holiday bonus. It's chilly. Or as my father used to say, it's chilly. He bothers me.
Who does?
Fauci. You've literally take away me being conservative, right? Who believes this guy anymore? He's literally wrong more than the weatherman. Who believes the weatherman anymore? Unless it's you look outside and say, "Oh, it's 100% chance of rain," and it's not raining.
Did you see how the Washington Post is covering for Fauci with the Beagles?
What, by just not publishing stuff?
Oh, they're so disgusting.
I don't have my hoodie here. Well, apparently Shannon says suddenly Brock is Bob Cratchit.
I don't know what that means.
That's...
Sorry.
He gets to put in one piece of coal. You guys never seen that Christmas movie? Christmas Carol?
No, I don't know.
Let me talk to all you guys out there and apologize for the heathens that I work for who have never seen A Christmas Carol, which, by the way, even Mickey has done that. But watch the black and white with the guy that played Patton. What was his name? George C. Scott. Easy now.
I was probably too busy with my kids to sit down and enjoy that.
Or getting ready to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Stand by.
You know, sometimes when we're going through all of the various news sources that we peruse on a daily basis, so you don't have to, you're welcome. I just feel like this whole world is all kinds of crazy. Literally. There are very few sources where I'm like, I agree with them. Everything else, totally bananas. Completely bananas. I have no idea, particularly now, that we would be having a conversation about letting violent offenders out of prison. Why would we ever do that? Well, I think it's part of the communist manifesto, if you will. All the various things that we've gone through, the checklist of things to normalize sexual deviance, to overtake the media, to mobilize students at school to become your little clone troopers, to infiltrate X, Y, or Z. I mean, how many of the 45 various elements could we point you today and say, well, that's been accomplished? Taking down monuments, calling artwork ugly, and then, ugly things beautiful. Like this weird reversal of reality. Like, where are we? There are few people on planet Earth as whack crazy as the people in the squad, okay? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is dangerous. She's dangerous. Ilhan Omar hates America. Rashida Tlaib, next to her kid, on her victory night when she won, into the House of Representatives, what have you, said F Donald Trump. What a leader. And yet my FU-46, let's go Brandon stuff is offensive. Ah, got it. This you've got to hear. A member of the media, obviously hit with some smelling salts because they had some clarity here. I don't know who this individual is, but God love him. Doesn't sound like he's from America, which would probably go to figure. Asking Rashida Tlaib about her crazy Breathe Act, which would basically be a free-for-all. Let's let people who are in prison out. They've been there for so long. I mean, really, enough is enough. This is just crazy, this whole law and order thing. I've had enough, don't you? Listen to the back and forth here. She is a dangerous idiot.
The Breathe Act proposes emptying federal detention facilities within 10 years. To what extent have you wrestled with any potential downsides of releasing into society every single person who's currently in a federal prison?
Yeah, I think that everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to just release everybody. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, but did you see how many people are mentally ill that are in prison right now?
What I'm trying to understand is your proposal is so sweeping. It does release everyone.
Think about it. Who are releasing?
But there are human traffickers.
Oh, I know.
Child sex.
But what I'm saying is, look at who's in prison now.
Oh, I know. I know. People are they're like, we're going to release everybody. Well, that's what it says. Do you get anything other than vacuous out of her? Literally. Is anybody inside? So if this was to actually happen, this is the Breathe Act, and this is what it says on her own website. Imagine schools free of police. Oh, perfect. That's a great idea. And full of trained counselors and restorative justice programs where all our children are kept safe and their needs are met. That's scary as nuts. Imagine easy access to trained trauma-informed interventionists who can be called on in domestic violence situations and who are equipped to facilitate long-term safety, healing, and prevention. Right. The Breathe Act offers a radical reimagining of public safety, community care, and how we spend money as a society. Of course, it's all about Black mothers, Black trans people, Black women. See, apparently this is only good for Black people. Awesome. According to her Breathe Act, letting everybody out of federal prison after 10 years, just being like, you know what? We're done. I hope you guys learned your lesson. Please, please, please don't kill anybody again. Right? Well, who would she let out? Derek Chauvin. That'd be one. Right? Now he'd get lost in the paperwork shuffle somewhere. He'd be with Kyle Rittenhouse for 87 days and then they'd lose him. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, would be let out. That sounds like a completely reasonable idea. How about Mamdouh Salim, the co-founder of Al-Qaeda? What could possibly go wrong with that? Or Zacarias Moussaoui. You know what? I don't care if I botch terrorists' names. They can suck it. He was the 9/11 plotter. How about Dzhokhar Tsarnaev? Remember him? The living brother of the Boston Marathon bombers. How about Dylan Roof, the neo-Nazi mass murderer, and the thousands of other ne'er-do-well Aryan Brotherhood members and other people who are haters? It's a great idea. This is what a United States House of Representative wants for your America. Who's voting for these people? Can you vote them out, please? Please? Don't go anywhere. Final 30 minutes of the Wendy Bell radio program coming up next.
Hi, this is.
Answer me one question. Why does everything have to be reimagined?
Yeah.
Reimagine the police.
Right.
Reimagine. No, you broke the law yet. So you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to reimagine that you didn't kill somebody. How about that? Let's reimagine.
How about don't break the law?
Yeah, let's reimagine not breaking the law. Right? You guys have had to see Christmas Carol, by the way. Scrooge, he sees the three. Well, let's go back to the very beginning. Cratchit gets to put one piece of coal to try to stay warm because the owner of his company is a cheapskate. Oh, and Josie from Ontario loves you.
Yeah.
Josie. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know if AOC, is she
crazy,
maniacal, or dumb? Like, I hear her talk.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that. Oh my God, like,
I find myself with that, like, look on your face. You're like, you ever say to your dog, who did this? And your dog's like, I find that's me. When she starts talking, I get the old, uh-huh? Like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know? Oh, we're talking Christmas movies on the stream. Listen, the absolute best Christmas movie is
Trading Places.
No, it's a Christmas. It's a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. No, would you two stop? You don't know. He gets his Christmas bonus. A Jelly of the Month glove. And the guy goes, oh, that's the gift that gives all year. I like It's a Wonderful. It's the best one out there. Even Becky thinks so. And Scott. You guys know. I'm not telling. These are smart people who understands cinematic greatness.
Oh, good heavens.
You guys with Trading Places and Scrooge.
I don't sit down and watch much of anything, so.
I know. One of these days, we're watching Rocky IV. We're getting some beers, and we're watching Rocky IV. See, do you see what I deal with? Do you guys see what I deal with? I have one going, I've never seen Rocky IV. I have the other village, I'll leave that other word out of there, saying, why Rocky IV? Hello, it's like the best one. He fights Russia? Yeah.
Never saw it.
I have plenty of times. We just went off topic.
No. Rocky IV is never off topic. It's almost a Christmas movie because he fights on Christmas. There's snow in it, and he hates the Russians. But he turns the it just takes you on an emotional roller coaster. He watches his friend die. I mean, the people at CNN, if they had to talk about it, it was a great movie. It took you on a roller coaster ride. He was the villain, and now he found the light.
It's mostly peaceful,
too. Except when they're beating the hell out of each other. Maybe that's what I'm good. You have a DVD player? You have a DVD player?
What do you think I am?
I don't own one.
Well, that's not surprising.
Maybe I should get one when I get my holiday bonus.
Man says we don't know cinematic greatness.
I stream everything.
You know, frame rate's not that great.
stuff I have to put up with on a daily basis.
Home stretch, baby.
Can't believe you've never seen Rocky 4. I'm getting it for you.
At what point are you going to realize that you and I are completely different individuals?
I'm getting it for you for Christmas.
Do you know how to needlepoint?
Yes.
I can't believe that.
I can cross stitch.
Mm-hmm.
My mother taught me.
Look at how adamant he gets. It's a little defensive, don't you think?
No, because I called you out.
There's a little defensiveness going on there. Wow. I know how to cross stitch. Psycho. Welcome back, everybody. We are nearing the end of this fabulous show, and I am not done yet. We've got lots more to talk about. You know, sometimes I do want to do some housekeeping because I do think it's important for us to follow up on things that we've reported on in the past. Probe finds overwhelming evidence of misconduct by Cuomo. Don't let them brush this under the rug, ladies and gentlemen. A legislative investigation released Monday. This is only hours old. I am not seeing this splashed across your mainstream media. Found overwhelming evidence that former Governor Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed women and that he ordered state workers to help produce his book on pandemic leadership during work hours. I want you to imagine what kind of individual wants to sit down at the beginning of a pandemic when people are dying under his purview and is deluded by his own feelings of grandeur to not just request, but to demand staffers help him write a book about his leadership to the tune of $5.12 million. That's what he made and can likely keep. There's a reason the board said the left is sucking it. These are your leaders. These are your people. Fascinating. The report also found Cuomo staff substantially revised a state health department report on COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes to exclude statistics that might have dimmed his reputation as a pandemic leader. By all means, let's not be honest. Let's not be honest about what we know and don't know, because there's nothing at all disarming for people to hear a governor say, look, folks, I don't know. We're going to make the best decisions we can. We're going to fight with you as long as we can. We're going to do whatever we can for you. Nope. I'm going to lie. I'm going to lie. I'm going to make people write my memoir about leadership. Bleh. And then I'm going to count my millions. What an absolute jag. The findings, authored by a law firm hired by the Assembly's Judiciary Committee, were widely expected, and the sections on sexual harassment largely echo allegations previously made in a report last summer by the state's Attorney General, who, by the way, decided to weigh in on the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. Hey, Letitia, you want to be governor? Shut it. Okay? Nobody cares what you think. Truly. Now I would never vote for you. I thought you were doing a good job, but it seems like it's all political. Oh, what? Politics, all political? Shocking. But it offered some new details, particularly around the $5.2 million private deal Cuomo struck to write the book American Crisis: Leadership Lessons on the Pandemic. Cuomo had promised state ethics officials that no state resources would be used on the book. Wah, wah. But the Assemblyman's investigators at the law firm Davis Polk and Wardwell said they found evidence that the governor had his staff spend copious amounts of time on the project. One senior state official explained that book-related assignments were given by superiors and expected to be completed, and the work was not voluntary. That sounds great. What a great working environment. I'm going to feel you up and make you write my book. Awesome. Another senior state official complained in a text message to a colleague that work on the book was compromising the official's ability to work on COVID-related matters. You can't make it up. The governor in one of the most populous states, where tens of thousands of people in nursing homes died, was taking people off of the work of COVID to write his damn book. What a guy. What a leader. What a man. And now he says he wants to run for Senate. Are you out of your mind, you deluded wacko? This, my friends, is why I pity the left. This, my friends, is why I understand how they're so upset, why they hate those of us who don't subscribe to this kind of malfeasance. It must be very lonely to be a despicable human being. Not fit for office on the sexual harassment allegations. The assembly had relied too much on information gathered during a politically biased investigation. This is what his side is saying. Blah, 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 blah. Overwhelming evidence. The assembly report said it had reviewed travel, phone, and text messages that back up one of his accuser's accounts of her whereabouts on the day she says the attack on her happened. On and on and on and on. People like that can never, ever, ever be allowed to slither back into the light. They're like the Clintons. Not dissimilar to the Bushes. We've had enough. We've paid enough of a price for these legacy families that literally have done nothing except enrich themselves. The Obamas, the Bidens. Did you guys see that Joe Biden apparently got his physical? Great. His colon looks good. I was worried about that. Colon looks good. Apparently, the doctor at Walter Reed had commented on his somewhat robotic-like motions, you know, how he walks like he's completely dazed and confused. We call that dementia. His doctor says it's not. Oh, okay. Here's my question. Now that Joe Biden says he's going to run for re-election, are you just out of your mind? Does anybody with a last name Biden say to him, you know, no, you're not. No, you're not, because you didn't even run this time. You stayed in the basement. And if it wasn't for the phenomenal cooperation of all of our clone troopers in all of these pivotal key cities where the water main breaks happened and where things went a little sideways in the darkness of night, you never would have even come close to winning. So, Pops, here's what we're going to do. You're going to sit down and you're not going to talk anymore, okay? All right. What's funny is with this extensive physical, there was no cognitive exam. Well, why in the heck not? Because I remember my grandfather, who had dementia, was perfectly able to drive, right? Physically, he was fine. But mentally, off he would go. Where are you going, Grandpa? What? If this is the leader of the free world, don't you think we should know what's going on in his brain? No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about his mental cognitive abilities. Nope. What'd you say?
But we know his vax status.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've seen his hairy arm. That's just a visual I don't need to see, right? In the fake White House set, the fake jab going in with his fuzz all over. Yeah, there's some things I don't need to see. But as we're talking about Joe Biden and his failures, let us go into the mashup here, Brock, about, inflation. Remember, it's transitory. Remember, this isn't a big deal. It's a rich person problem. You're rich, right? That's what we're told. Let's hear the excuses. And then we'll hear the brilliance of the Today Show and their tart of a reporter who wants to tell you, well, just don't buy a turkey. Fewer people will come over. It'll be cheaper. Ah, great solution.
Talking
Here's Joe
inflation. The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down. No one's talking about this great,
And the data shows that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary.
But I think over the medium term, we'll see inflation decline back toward normal levels.
It's highly unlikely that's going to be long-term inflation that's going to get out of hand.
If you take out those three categories, we've actually seen price increases that are more in line with historical norms.
The faster than expected increase in some of those prices is actually a good sign.
This is something that will settle down.
Transitory.
President Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, enthusiastically retweeted an economist who had said in part most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, et cetera, are high-class problems.
There's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God. That is hilarious.
The tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed.
One White House official snarking, you're just not going to be able to get the jacket in 15 colors, but at least you'll get a jacket.
If it turns out that what I've done so far, what we've done so far, is a mistake, it's going to show.
Okay, it's showing. Wow. I thought that was an important thing to show you guys. That's your government. They're telling you, no, you guys don't get it. You're too dumb to understand. Sure, I know it feels like gas is expensive, but it really isn't. It's a privilege for you. You're making more. Wages are up. Demand is up. It's actually a good thing. The reason why everything looks like an excrement show at the ports is because people are buying more, because we're giving them free stuff. Don't you know? Oh, and as for that turkey, well, thank goodness we've got the Today Show to help us through this quandary.
And while we are on the topic of something that could be controversial, perhaps forego the turkey. Bear with me. Ooh. I know that is the staple of the Thanksgiving meal. However, some people think turkey is overrated, and so it tends to be the most expensive thing on the table. Maybe you do an Italian feast instead. And I will say this. If you tell everyone you're having a Thanksgiving without turkey, some guests may drop off the list, and that's a way to cut costs too.
Or how about you hold your government accountable and say, what in the hell are you doing? Oh, that would make too much sense.
I could say I would not come to your house if you did say we're not having turkey. So it's not total fake news. I just would not come in probably ever again.
What if I said we were having filet instead?
She said, but that's different because she said,
Listen,
see. I don't want SpaghettiOs for Thanksgiving.
Oh, I see.
But I don't think that's a way. Bring up politics if you want to get rid of people.
But that's the
feed them turkey.
That's the answer to them. Not why not get to the root of the problem? Instead, it's incumbent upon you to change your behavior because this is the new normal. Did you guys hear the Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, piece of work, hack job that she is, basically said the quiet part out loud? That yes, we are transitioning to green crap. You know, all this stuff all the resources that are not renewable, green solar panels, windmills, electric cars, all made out of non-renewable resources that will ultimately run out. Isn't it great timing for all this? We're going to fundamentally change our entire way of energizing our lives. At the same time, we have sky-high inflation. Gas prices are through the roof. The Keystone Pipeline is closed. But thank God he's releasing 50 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which will get us through Friday. Awesome job. Oh, I feel so much better. Wow. I might just drive around extra so I can fill up twice and not feel like I'm getting so hosed all the time. I'm getting fussy. Let's talk about Morgane's Fitness. I need her punching bag. Right? I need to put on my boxing gloves and go off to the bag. And Morgane's Fitness, Kelly Morgan and family. This is a veteran-owned business. They own 4 locations, Somerset and Cambria counties in Pennsylvania. And it is the people. that make a gym different from every other gym out there. By and large, you're going to get a lot of the same stuff inside. You're going to get the machines. You're going to get the free weights. You're going to get the Nautilus, the elliptical, the treadmill. But what you get at More Gains Fitness is a different approach. And it's wonderful people. They care about you. They're down with your fitness goals, and they'll help you get there. They've got group fitness classes, personal trainers if you rather do one-on-one stuff, the body composition analysis, the metabolism testing, the child care, open 24/7. You decide what time is good for you. It's beautiful. More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ, moregainsfitness.com. Check it out. It's easy to get fussy when you talk about the idiocy of the left, right? I get it. That's why I pity them. I get why they're mad. They're losing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Oh my God.
JD out.
Yes, sir.
And is that your way of asking me to Thanksgiving dinner and telling me you're serving filet? Because if that's the case, I'm there.
No, I made it last night, and I did a really bad job of it.
Here we go.
Yeah, I was upset. I got a lot of expensive meat to celebrate the boys being home from college, and then I did a really stinky job of making it. I had to put Bob and Chris's meat back on the stove, right on the grill twice. It was still moving. I like raw meat, though, medium rare. Why would I invite you to Thanksgiving? You go to your wife's family.
I didn't tell you that yet.
Really? Really?
Why would I invite you? I don't know.
Oh, for all the times you've invited me to your house. Oh, that's right.
Take pity on the poor? I don't know.
Oh, right. I pay you. Wow. That sounds like you're not happy. That might impact your holiday bonus.
There goes the holiday bonus. I'm ending up with the jelly at the club. It's super hot in here now. I know what it's like to be Wendy Bell. Cold, hot, cold.
Well, we'd like to say that's menopause.
I must be going through menopause.
Menopause, yeah. That's why my lips are shredded. Menopause. It's the pits.
Okay.
It's a trade-off.
I don't plan on going through it.
You don't?
No.
I can talk to you about it, though. I think that makes it a lot more fun for you when you can share. You share with me. Oh, see, Jason's taking his off too now as well.
It is.
Somebody was paying attention.
What?
Somebody might have been listening to you and fiddled with the temperature.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't think they care what you think.
Yeah, I don't either. Why would no one else cares? Why would they care? Here we go.
I love talking about John D'Onofrio. If you haven't taken the time to sit down and pour over your financials with John D'Onofrio, the estate lawyer I trust, you don't have that peace of mind roadmap on paper that tells your loved ones what they get after you're gone, right? You need to know what happens to your money, your estate after you pass away. You get to decide. And if you can sit down with John and save all sorts of crippling inheritance taxes because he knows the ins and outs of that, oh my goodness, right? He's got 40 years of experience. He's a gentleman, and he's a patriot, and he knows what he's doing. 412-928-2068. 412-928-2068. I trust him. You can too. Attorney John D'Onofrio. I love this. This is just, right in time for the holiday. I think this is a heartwarming illustration of this administration. And I'm going to read you the headline and you can fill in some dots. Joe Biden planning to blame businesses for inflation and higher prices. You can't make it up. If you're going to suck a goose egg, okay? Really. You can at least be honest about it, but you can't. See? We're not allowed to actually take responsibility for being creeps and lousy at what we do. President Joe Biden plans to blame businesses for rising prices and higher inflation this week as his poll numbers continue to plunge. I think last time I saw he's at 37%, maybe 36 now.
I think he's even lower than that.
You think he's lower than that?
I think so.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
The president is, well, the media will cover
what he deserves and what he actually gets.
I do wonder who the 36 or 37% are who are like, yeah, this is, I love this.
This guy's fantastic.
This is really fantastic. I'm loving these high prices. And really, I have all sorts of money I can spend doing anything. So this is fabulous.
Yeah, I hope he can get those prices up right before Christmas.
Right, exactly. And then maybe I can get audited too by his new IRS. That'd be fantastic. I'd love that. The president has scheduled a speech on the economy. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be good. I'm going to have to make sure I tune in. It's today.
Here, let me preview it.
Where am I standing? Okay. The president has scheduled a speech on the economy and, quote, lowering prices for the American people at the White House on Tuesday before he leaves for his Thanksgiving vacation in Nantucket. Oh, it's a special place to go. I love Nantucket this type of year. Never been to Nantucket. I'm kidding. I've never been to Baltimore, so this isn't shocking. The Washington Post reports the White House is weighing a plan to blame businesses for raising prices on consumers. I mean, it just is logical. Kick people when they're down. It's a good strategy. Accusing them of enjoying record profits at the same time. Who's enjoying record profits? Are any of you enjoying record profits? Are you feeling like wages are really helping you out? You've got so much money? No. It's unclear how far Biden will go to put the blame for record inflation on American companies, but it is part of an emerging trend. Imagine, he blamed OPEC. He didn't blame himself for shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline and slashing thousands of jobs. That was OPEC's fault. That was price gouging, right? Biden already blamed meat processors for higher meat prices and raised concerns about oil companies for raising costs of gasoline. He also accused companies of failing to move goods off of shipping docks quickly enough, blaming them for supply chain problems. Don't forget, he's also charging them $100 a day per container past 9 days. That's not moved expeditiously. What a guy. If the private sector doesn't step up, we're going to call them out and ask them to act, he warned in October. Yeah. But inflation continues to rise at record levels. In October, inflation pushed prices of consumer goods up by the most in 3 decades. The president has tried to team up with large retailers. Remember, they quote Walmart a lot of Walmart, because, everybody shops there. The president has tried to team up with large retailers to reassure Target, to reassure Americans that there will be no shortages of goods during the Christmas and Thanksgiving season. Walmart and Target have made public today what they told me about a week ago, that they're stocked up for the holiday season. Their inventories are up. They have all the toys, food, and other items that shoppers are looking for in the holiday season. What if you don't shop at Target and Walmart? What if that's not where you get the lion's share of your holiday gifts? Like most people don't. But the White House remains unprepared to handle rising inflation on Biden's watch. 62% of American voters, including 41% of Democrats, blame Biden for rising inflation, according to a poll, as the White House continues to struggle with messaging on the issue. You can put lipstick on a pig, still pig. You can blame people for inflation, but we all know it's Joe Biden's doing. So nice try, Joe. I will be tuned in. I'll make Brock this holiday truce-making deal. You listen to CNN and MSNBC. I'll listen to Jen Psaki and Joe Biden. Is that fair? That's fair. Fair? No? You're not liking it.
I don't know. Brian Stelter and Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo. You got to listen to Psaki and
Joe Biden.
I don't know. I'll take it, I guess. I really don't have a choice.
Now your holiday bonus is looking good again. I like it. See how that works? Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Remember to download the Wendy Bell Radio Network app and check out our new caps. So cute. See you back here tomorrow. Peace.